but we have to start the meeting just a little bit differently tonight when Corey's absent.
I'd like to make a motion in Corey's absence that Heather Curtis run the meeting tonight.
Support.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those approved the same. Motion's approved. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call. Pat? Katie?
Here.
Yvonne?
Here.
Heather is here. Corey is absent. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same. The agenda is approved. Approval of the previous meeting minutes from November.
I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed to the same. Meeting minutes are approved. Once that heat turns on, if somebody wants us to turn it off, because it does make it hard to hear, just let us know. All right, local government recognition. First on this is Jerry Nyer.
Afternoon, evening, sorry.
Good evening.
Lansing's pretty quiet right now. Governor needed a call the end of session there in order to move up the presidential primaries, so we haven't been in business since the second week in November. Plethora of things passed there, including zoning that allows for wind and solar to move through the state more easily without local approval. And then also a plethora of election laws that will be updated and changed. Heather and company are wading through those changes right now. And it's going to make the season a lot longer, a lot more difficult for our clerks and all the staff there. So anything you folks can do voluntarily to help out our clerks during the election season, please step up and do what you can. We're still continuing, Roger Hulk and I are still continuing to look for resources to help out with the sewer project. We probably won't know of anything until after the first of the year. Eagle's working on some new programs, and then there's also some federal funding that once they get the new farm bill passed, may show up, but that's all up in the air right now. So I don't really have anything to report on that. Other than that, I can take a few questions that staff is willing to take, or,
You want to take questions? That's fine.
for a couple of minutes.
So you're investigating resources, not helping us stop it.
I don't have the authority to stop it. It's a local decision. It's not my job isn't to fiddle around local affairs. It isn't in my privy, or there isn't any way otherwise. I think it would have been helped out earlier.
You know whose job it is to help us stop this. As far as like I contacted Brian Howe, he said it's out of his hands. So whose
Yeah.
hands is it in? They said it's
That would be,
townships.
outside of the township, that would, it would be somebody in the legal profession would be my next best guess.
Okay, thank you.
When you're talking about the windmill stuff, business,
Yeah.
Is that, are you looking into that money coming and staying within our community?
Well, with what's already here, there's no change in that. With anything that comes in, new wind or solar projects here, the zoning authority has left, or for large projects, is not in the local jurisdiction anymore.
Okay.
What the rules are on that, they haven't finished that out, or we don't know what that looks like yet.
Okay.
Or how
And are you telling us that we need to go federal if we're trying to stop this and our local representatives are saying, we don't have anything, we can't stop it for you, we can't intercede for you,
Stop what?
the sewer.
The sewer?
Yeah.
Are
you saying we have to go federal?
Everything up to this point here has been done according to the letter of the law.
No, it hasn't. We've had one meeting for 1 hour in August of 2018. No, it hasn't.
I don't have, from a legal standpoint, I don't have the authority.
I just want the representatives to know. I mean, I don't know if you're reading all this stuff.
Yep, I've been reading the minutes, I've been here a couple of times.
Not the minutes, the whole thing.
Okay.
Are you aware about the 10% rule where they were supposed to give us a hearing every time it goes up 10%?
I know of that. We haven't gotten any solid bids, or you haven't received any solid bids on that, so we don't know what the cost
I
is.
can actually prove to you that the numbers between now and then have went up way over 10%.
It's not my job to decide that.
Do you also know about the intolerable sewer rates law that says that you can't go over 4.5% of the median income in the community? And 2% goes to water, and 2.5% goes to sewer. So you have to go like $40,000 a year is pretty much our median here. You can't go over 2.5% of that, and it's way over 2.5%. So can you look into that?
I'll ask my staff to.
Okay, I realize you may or may not be able to answer this off the top of your head, but the way you were talking, it sounds like this is a township decision, and the township could choose to reverse course on the sewer. Can you walk us through, if the township chooses to do that, what that process might look like?
I do not know that process. I can try and figure it out.
Okay, I would certainly appreciate that, thank you.
Yep.
I'm new in this area. I moved up here in 1st of October. Has the state put any money into the sewer project at this point?
In the start, in 2018, there was, I believe, a couple million plus that was put in, I'd have to look it up, but put into the initial project.
Okay, so there has been some money put in. And again, my understanding is that what kicked off the project was the state, or was it the county Department of Health, finding regarding the Beale City septic system.
It was Eagle that made that determination.
And Eagle is?
DEQ or the,
Oh, okay.
yeah. They've changed their name, yes.
Yes. No, I lived here in this area up until 2007 and didn't come back until last year, so I'm not up on all the new acronyms.
Yep. Sorry, I can't be more definitive for you, but that's what I have. Yeah, I'll hang around for, go ahead.
Mr. Hutchinson, you're next.
My name is Terry Hutchison. I'm Commissioner of District 1, Isabella County, and I represent Nottawa's in my district. I've got a meeting set up next Monday with Eagle, Central Michigan Health District, and the head of the sewer system. And what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, and I've been to a couple meetings, is questions that are coming out that are not getting answered the same. And we're gonna put an end to that.
Good.
So I'll have the meeting, I'll get with them. If you have any questions you want answered, you can leave your questions here. I'm on the county website, you can email me. We'll just, we gotta be on the same page. We gotta have the same answers. I can't have us telling you one thing, and then you call Eagle and they tell you another thing. So we're just trying to get to where we're all on the same page, and if you're looking at going, trying to stop it, we'll have answers for that, so.
I gather from the way you're stating this, that this meeting is not going to be open to the public?
I don't think this one will be, but then I can call one, or we can come back next month here, and I'm trying to get Eagle, and I'm trying to get the Central Michigan Health District, to both appear.
It would be nice if we had them all in front of us to answer these questions.
That's what the
And zoning.
is.
That's health department.
If I may throw a question to Heather. Since both Mr. Hutchinson and Mr. Nyer are looking at getting more information, would you be potentially willing to let them pass it on to you to post on the township website when they have it?
Yes, if there's a public meeting set up,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Anything else, Terry?
No, I just, I don't know if you wanna, we've got Officer Main back there.
I'm just here to give the 2022 report, so I can do it real quick, so I think you got a heavy agenda tonight. For some reason, I can't tell why, but just throw that out there.
You're quick.
We just had a meeting in town and, over the, what's going on at the county building and, here's your man.
I'm just here tonight to talk about 2022. So the township, the sheriff's office responded to 540 calls in the township. You're pretty much average across for most of the rural townships. I'll recap it quick and I'll do it fast and get you guys on your way here. So at the beginning of the year, 2022, we were fully staffed. Unfortunately, as the spring rolled around, I lost 13 employees in about 60 days. So some of them went to jobs that paid $11 more an hour and things like that, where we just couldn't compete. So we've been rebuilding again all year, trying to rebuild staff between the corrections and the road patrol. We're actually making some strides there. We're finally getting there. We did 16,378 incidents last year in the county. That's about 1.8 an hour. It's about a 4% increase, or 4% arrest. That's about 7% reduction, and that has to do with some bail and bond reform that we've seen come out of Lansing over the last few years. 49% were criminal, which were a 14% increase, even though that the arrests were lower. And then 21% non-criminal and 26% traffic, and there were no changes. We did about 1,499 traffic crashes, 892 car deer accidents. That was an increase of 111. Yeah, I mean, we're on track again, so lots of car deers. 163 personal injury accidents. Unfortunately, we had 8 fatalities in 2022. We've had a few this year, but I don't think we're going to hit that number, thank goodness. But we've had a few again. So mental health calls were 306. We had 1,618 domestic assaults. That was up about 48. We drove 321,000 miles on patrol. Did 162 transports. August was our busiest month. October was our slowest month. Our arrests were actually up, even though the 4% was down below 7%. But for the overall, we were up 648. It was about 117 increase. We did over 400 Freedom of Information Act requests. We were up about 91, but I think everybody was up last 2022. Marine, we had 53 hours because we were short-staffed. We didn't get as many hours in the waterway, which kind of hurts us a little bit there. But we had 56 inspections and 5 warnings. We had 2,049 inmates come into the jail from all the agencies. 285 was an increase for that. We did an average population about 150. That's where we run right now. We did 174,411 meals. We had over 7,000 health risk appraisals and sick calls to our medical contract. The reason I always put that one in there is the contract this year in 1 year went up $150,000 to have our medical folks in the jail. But they seen 7,000 inmates, or 7,000 times inmates were seen, so it's a tough one to swallow. That meant that 7,000 times that we didn't have to come out somewhere to get them treated or looked at or something. We had 151 on suicide watch. Building repairs, we had 55,662 above and beyond the normal, maintenance for our old building there. We received over $569,000 in grants, canine, marine, inmate tracking, all kinds of stuff, Homeland Security. The one that really kind of touted a little bit is there was a one-page grant opportunity that I filled out through MDHHS, and it was COVID-related stuff. We thought we'd get $10,000, $15,000 to kind of help offset. Only about 14 of the sheriff's offices across the state put in for it. We had $365,000 granted to us. So then we had to figure out how to, so we got creative and we were able to write that off to that medical contract that's so expensive, wrote the whole thing off. So that was a big piece of that. Animal control now falls under us for the first year. They did over 1,000 complaints and had almost 100 dog bites. We implemented a crisis intervention team or Central Michigan Health Department tablet program. So basically we're in the rural areas. We have a tablet the depths to carry with them now. So if someone's having a mental health crisis, they literally can log in at dark 30 hours, talk to a crisis intervention team member anywhere in the county for 10-15 minutes. The crisis intervention team member says, yes, they need to come to the hospital, no, we'll follow up in the morning, whatever. For us, it's been very helpful, keeps us back on the road pretty quick. So that's a pretty cool program that we've been partnered up with CMH. We provided over 4,000 hours of training. We had, from the state a couple of years ago, $4.8 million appropriations for a radio tower. We're still working on that. Well, that's the slowest thing I've ever seen, and maybe not as slow as what you guys got going, I don't know, but it's a pretty slow project as well. But we meet every other week on it, so we're moving forward. The reason I bring that up is there's a shelter that all the widgets and gadgets got to go in, and the shelter literally can take an RPG hit or a rocket strike. It's a $500,000 shelter. We were able to find one and negotiate with Consumer Energy. We bought it for $1. So it was a pretty good savings. So we didn't really balk about getting the crane and getting it down here, so we're pretty excited about that. We are just finalized our records management and CAD. All the agencies are coming on board to the same dispatching system, to the same record system, so we're sharing all kinds of data, which is crucially important in our business to be able to share on the fly and get good data. The only other thing I have is the construction update. Moving forward, it's I've been doing this since 2016, and I'm ready for this project to be done. But it's kind of generating my interest a little bit because it's got inside. There's walls. There's things being it's pretty cool to start seeing it come together. And we are struggling desperately with mental health, and we've had tons of juvenile issues and housing and a linear jail. It's been a problem. So. I know it's a lot of money, but we really need to get in a better place to keep these people safe and keep my staff safe and move forward. So that is all of it in a nutshell, and I'm sorry if I went fast, but I wanted to get you folks moving along. So I will be more than happy to answer any questions you have. So, all right, thank you, and good luck on everything else.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service.
All right, moving on to the public comment portion. I'm going to read our statement that we've been reading the last couple of months. Good evening. Before we begin the public comment section of today's board meeting, I'm going to review the ground rules that I'll be using as chairman of the meeting. We know that everyone has their opinions regarding township business, and everyone will have a chance to express their opinions. We ask that you please respect each other and that everyone follows the ground rules. Each person who wishes to speak will have 3 minutes, excluding time needed to answer any questions if there are any. Each speaker will be timed and will be advised when their time is up. You cannot give your minutes to another speaker. Public comment will not be concluded until each and every member of the public requesting to make a public comment has a full and fair opportunity to do so. Please be civil to board members, the board chair, the township's professional contractors, and any other members of the public. Personal or political attacks against anyone will not be tolerated. Each speaker during public comment is required to direct their comments to the chair. Speakers may not direct comments or questions to individual board members, township professional contractors, or other members of the public. In order to avoid debates among speakers and acknowledge the right of each person to speak, the board members will not comment or respond to a speaker, either by verbal or nonverbal communication. Therefore, silence or non-response from the board should not be interpreted as disinterest or disagreement by the board. Public comment is not a debate or a question and answer session. The board members will listen and, as appropriate, will follow up with additional information at a later date. I will call to order any person who conducts themselves in a disorderly manner by speaking over others or otherwise disrupting the proceedings, or by speaking longer than the allotted time, or by otherwise failing to follow the protocol for public comment. If called to order, the speaker must discontinue speaking and be seated until the chair has determined whether the speaker has resumed compliance. If a person is ruled out of order, he or she shall not be permitted to speak further at the same meeting except upon special leave of the chair. Thank you in advance for your voluntary show of respect for the civil process of this meeting and for the community where we make our homes and raise our families. All right. Who wants to be the first speaker? Nobody?
I'll go.
I got this gentleman right here.
My name is Jerry Cabell, and I am newly moved into the township as of the 1st of October, although I have been a resident of Isabella County from 1984 to 2007. And I'm struggling to understand what's going on with the sewer system project. So I would appreciate any correction of misunderstandings on my part. And my understanding is that this began when the health department, county, I gather, health department determined there were some problems with the Beale City septic system with regard to lack of appropriate drain fields or inadequate drain fields for the septic tanks. And there was some sort of a citation issued against Beale City that required that to be corrected. Am I correct in that? Well, if I'm not correct, I'll sit down and shut up.
Homes are tied into the county drain. Beale City homes and businesses were tied into the county drain.
That was my
The
understanding.
township was funding $42,000.
This is Mr. Cable's turn only. Go ahead, Mr. Cable.
That's Cabell.
Cabell, sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I guess my next question is regard to the Coldwater Lake portion of the project. I have heard two ways on this, that there was some pollution found in the lake. I assume it was coliform bacteria, I don't know that for certain, but that there's not been a county health department or whatever finding against the Coldwater Lake area. And I know nothing at all about the Wademan situation. But if there's not been anything specifically determined about inadequacy in the Coldwater Lake area, or the Wademan area for that matter, how was the decision made to bring them into the project? And Mr. Nyer actually already answered one of my other questions about state money coming into the project. I was glad to hear that. But those are the questions that I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Who back here said they wanted to speak? Go ahead.
Patricia Carrick, 5355 Beale City Road. A couple months ago, I had asked the Nottawa Township Board, why can't Township as a whole help pay for this millions of dollars sewer system that you want to tax only 410 people on, plus 80 in Beale City? Your answer, not everyone will be using it. On the contrary, Coldwater Lake Park is a county park used by many people in and out of the county, and you want the 410 people considered in this district to pay extra taxes on this along with the 40-year tax. Beale City Park is used by many along with Casey Hall. That too is being taxed above our 40-year tax. Wademan Park has a bathroom too in Nottawa Township and will be added to our 40-year tax. I looked at a breakdown of my property tax. I don't use Dollaride, Medical Care Facility, Beale City Schools, and RSD. My grandchildren do not even use these. Do I need to continue to pay these taxes? Beale City Superintendent had a nice article referring to how much money Windmill generates for the school. Who voted for that? And why am I paying school taxes for the RSD when this windmill money is sure giving them lots and lots of money? Where's my taxes going to then? Speaking of Beale City, it rarely turns down a millage. How many more will be passed in our 40-year tax? Cha-ching, cha-ching. Karen and I ran into a nice lady around the lake that told us all the government documents needed to be 4th grade reading level. That's called the Plain Writing Act 2010, Public Law 11-274. The act requires all federal agencies to use clear government communication that the public can understand. This is what you guys wrote. Take future notice from the Nottawa Township Board. May determine to proceed to make said improvements without petition unless written objections to the improvement are filed within the township board prior to the township board meeting to be held on August 6, 2018. If written objections are received from the record owners of land constituting more than 20% of the total land care in proposed special assessment district, the township board may not proceed to make improvements unless the first received petition requests an improvement signed by record owners of land constituting more than 50% of the land area proposed at special assessment district. Was that a notice of a vote? Was that language understood, that we understood? No. We being forced into this and taxed like no other is not the American way. Again, why are we paying school taxes if the windmill money is covering far beyond what we can pay? I don't understand. I mean, who voted for this? That's my question. Thank you. The language is not used.
Somebody else? No? Kim?
Since you're not answering our questions, are we still giving our addresses, or are we done with that too?
If you don't want to give me your address.
No, I
you don't
didn't,
have
I
to.
just didn't know, I just didn't want to waste my,
But this is a comment, then it's not a question
so
and
she's not
answer.
gonna answer, you're not gonna answer
This is
anything?
only for comments, the way I read it.
It's
Township
public comment.
meeting,
Just
comment
comments,
only.
no answers.
I read in here that we're not doing a back and forth question and answer.
Okay. Okay, I'll talk to these guys then, because no sense in talking to you. Hey, do you guys know that there's such a thing as intolerable sewer rates? It's actually a law, and it was started because in the olden days, they wanted everybody to have rights to water and sewer, because we're not like a third country and we shouldn't have to shit in buckets, right? So what they did is they took the medium range for, here it's 40 grand, it's around 40 grand, I think it was a little under. And then you couldn't go over 4.5% of that yearly, otherwise they figured that was, costing you too much. So they split it up because we don't get water. Most people that have a sewer do get water, but we don't. So they split it up, 2% is water, 2.5% is sewer. So really, they shouldn't be charging us more than 2.5% of our incomes to shit. Let's just be honest, okay? So I wanted you guys to know that, and I have a lot of other things too. I've been posting a lot of good information I'm getting from the FOIAs on the Coldwater Lake pages, and I hope it's not overwhelming to anybody, but it's really good information, honestly. And a lot of the questions that these guys are asking, I can simply answer by what we've had in the FOIA and what I have posted lately. So a lot of Ian's answers, I can post them tonight, and we actually got these from Heather, so I guess when she's making up the FOIAs, she's not reading them. But, so all these answers that these guys are asking are in the FOIAs. So they're really easy to answer. They said that 2 bars were shitting in the drain system. That's what this happened. It was only 2 businesses that caused Beale City to have the sewer. So out of everything else, if it was just my house and your house, they would have condemned our houses, right? So why didn't they shut down them damn old bars anyway? I don't know. Apparently it was worth something, because I can prove they've been fined and fined. One fine alone was $15,000. One was $200 a day. Do you know once they actually started getting fined, it took them 6 years to fix it. 6 years. So, why haven't we been told about this? Is that in your monthly thing? Are you showing how much, telling these guys how much you guys were paying in fines? I never heard that before. I knew you guys were getting fined, but I never once seen the numbers until just recently. And I'm and there's another fine for $4,900. So check out the Coldwater Lake page. I'll post some more stuff to answer Ian's questions.
Keep talking.
I can keep talking.
Keep talking.
That'll teach you.
Somebody else want to make comment? Go ahead.
Something to do with.
Now, Ian Cabell, 5160 Parkview Drive. Now, you did say you were not going to respond at the moment. but you also said that you folks would follow up and respond at a later date. So we're going to take advantage of that. Questions for you. Question 1. Can you prove that there exists a problem or several problems in our neighborhood that you think that this sewer will solve? If so, please do so. Question 2. Can you prove that the sewer as envisioned will actually solve these problems that you have identified? If so, please do so. Question 3. Can you prove that the sewer as contemplated is the most cost-effective way to solve these problems you've identified? If so, please do so. Question 4. Can you prove that the value of solving these problems is greater than the cost of solving these problems? And I will note that this cost includes undisputed testimony that many of my friends and neighbors will lose their homes, and that the Coldwater Lake 4-H camp will shut down. If you can prove this, please do so. Now I will note, since I see I have 1 more minute left, that we're talking very basic principles of small c conservative government. Fix the problems that you need to, fix them the most efficient way possible, and don't cause more harm than you prevent. Thank you.
Does somebody else like to speak? Back there?
I would just like to spin off of that. Can you disclose to us the...
I'm sorry, can you tell me your name?
I'm Bria Dow.
Thank you.
Can you disclose to us the septic systems, drain fields that were discovered to be problematic around the lake? And why X amount of people are paying for X amount of number of problematic systems? Because I'm assuming that there are those that have been proven unstable or not up to code that do not have room or access to bring them up to code in a reasonable way with their own finances. So it's been an assumption, and please, if you can correct me if I'm wrong on the same question, that you're trying to disperse the cost of few throughout many.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. That's what my point is.
Is that it?
Tax,
Yes.
tax.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? No?
Yep.
All right.
So, you know,
I'm sorry, name?
Ann,
Thank you.
so feeding off, are you taping this? Are you actually gonna be answering these questions at some point? You are taping it. Thank you. Feeding off of these guys' questions and responses, why did this start in 2016, according to factual information from you guys on FOIAs? It started in 2016 that you discussed that we, the Coldwater Lake people, could offset the cost of Beale City's problem if you just reach out to us. And then why did you, I really want to know that answer. Why did this start in 2016 when we had a 1-hour meeting in August of 2018 about the sewer? That's 2 years. 2 years you guys were discussing this. And you were discussing it with a very small community of the Coldwater Lake Association. You actually referred to it. You referred to it in your engineering plan. And the Coldwater Lake Association reached out to you to go ahead and add us. This is 2016, and then 2018 we get talked to. What is that? And we're not supposed to be upset about that? And then in 2018, you give us almost no information, which now in 2023, none of it's true. Not a bit of it is true, except that you had every intention to do this without any conversation or dialogue with any of us. You never even thought to have that conversation with us. You had it with a few people, the Harters, Walmsley, Marcianos, a few. And then you just went on, like we aren't here. I want to know, the dates are very, very clear, what you did and how you did it. The dates are very clear. The Open Meetings Act, you completely ignored it, completely. So August 2018, we have a 1-hour gym room meeting, and you don't have another open meeting for us to discuss this ever. And you're wondering why we're upset. You actually are just gonna stonewall us. I mean, they have no intention of listening to anything we're saying. You guys know that, right?
Right.
You know that nothing we say or do is going to change what they're thinking.
Right.
Right. There isn't anything.
Talk to Mr. Hutchinson, he's the one that can help us.
Well, he's gonna have a meeting. So I wanna know if you guys wanna do an assessment today. And I'm
put in my dollar.
I'm gonna give you
I thought
$1.
they owe you $1 from.
I'm gonna give you $1. I'm just gonna pick this spot right here.
$4.
And I'm just gonna sit right here. Because you got my buck, and I want this space. You don't need my approval, right?
I don't get it either.
I don't need your approval, right?
Okay, your time is up. Thank you, Ms.
Okay.
Rose.
Good luck.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Jelaine.
Jelaine Marcos, 5122 Parkview Drive. When was Coldwater Lake Sewer District developed? When was the Coldwater Lake Special Assessment District developed and by who? On June 18th, 2018, this board declared your intent to proceed with the public improvement of the Coldwater Lake Sewer District. There's actually a document in your foyer that you received that says that, June 18th of 18, which was prior to the July 18th public hearing to gauge whether there was any opposition to it. Can the Coldwater Lake Special Assessment District be redone to remove property from that special assessment? If so, how is that done? At the town hall meeting in 18, you stated this was a turnkey deal. Now in 2023, we're finding out that's not the case. Why are all these fees being added to the property owners in this assessment district without us even having a say? We can't even get a meeting to get the information. In previous meetings, you stated that all of the easements needed to be secured to move forward for the bid phase of this project. In the last meeting, it was clearly stated that you did not need the easements all signed, just the ones on private roads. What changed? Have you received all the easements on the private roads? If not, how many are you still waiting for? What's next? Is it the bids? What's the time frame on this? How long do they have to put in for the bids? When does the second public meeting happen? I'm under the impression that in 18, the meeting would be held soon, after the first one. I'm now under the impression that it will be held after all the bids are in and they have the actual cost on an estimate. I'd like that explained. What is the special assessment rule? How will we be notified of a second public hearing? What information will be available at that meeting, if any? Will we have an opportunity at that time to object to the special assessment? And if so, how would we do that? In last month's meeting, a member of this board stated that one property in Beale City did not hook up. They also stated that there would be enforcement on that property in the future. What is the planned enforcement for that property? And what is the timeline for that enforcement? Why was a 60-plus acre parcel of land, I've asked this question 3 months in a row and not gotten an answer, included in a special assessment district when it's not on the lake and it has no house on the property? How many properties in the special assessment district have sold or changed owners since 2018? And were any of the new owners notified by this board about the sewer project or special assessment that they took ownership? If no, why not?
I was, and I bought mine in 2019.
It's my 3 minutes. Why are the larger areas of property included in a special assessment district that are not even close to the water? To be frank, there is no way for my sewer to be able to get to the lake.
So why is my property being assessed with this burden so that people who are on the water, who have overbuilt their property and not retained their drain fields, have a sewer? Why am I paying for their sewer?
Well,
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else want to speak? Go ahead.
Ron Shirley, 1331 North High Slope Street. I've been to several of these meetings, and I haven't heard anybody, and there's different people there every time, I haven't heard anybody stand up and say, boy, we really support you, board, let's put this in. Why aren't you listening to the people that voted for you? I don't understand that. Do you still know what it's gonna cost us as homeowners? I think last month you said $16,000, and once before you said $12,000. I'm just wondering, what's it gonna cost each homeowner?
Thank you for your comments. Somebody else had their hand up. Go ahead.
Robert Whitehead, is there a number that you're considering or to stop this project? If the bids come in, is there a number that you can say the township can't afford this? Or are you just gonna pass that cost onto the taxpayer? I mean, there's gotta be a number somewhere in somebody's mind. I know you're not gonna answer, but the question is, the township can't afford what you think you wanna do.
huge
Is
loans.
that it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your comments. Ms. Groves, you can either sit there quietly or go back and sit, but you can't.
No, I'm gonna sit here. I
She
paid my
bought
money.
that spot.
I bought this spot. This is my
hers now.
assessment
It's
area.
$1. She gave you the
I gave you the dollar. You
She's
might not
gotten
want me
very
here.
quiet.
You
She's
might
gotten
not want
very
me here,
quiet.
but I don't want you on my property and you're gonna do it anyway. I'm here.
I'm just asking you to sit quietly.
I know what you're asking me to do. My husband's been asking me that for 47 years. It's never happened. Never.
Well,
I guess I've been to all these meetings. I'm Kurt Malone, 5405 West Beale City Road. I've been at all these meetings. I bought my property in 2019. I was aware of the sewer project. Ralph came down, visited me a couple times while construction's going on. Didn't ask me how I felt about the sewer project. Didn't tell me it was gonna cost me. I knew this. Because the first permits I had to get was sewer and water well. And they told me, we can put in a septic tank.
You directing that at me? Because I'll
No,
answer.
I'm
Ms.
pointing.
Rose?
I'm
Well, she's
pointing.
looking right at me.
I'm looking at Heather.
Sorry.
This is what I'm saying. Here's another point. Don't put me on Facebook in your comments, okay? I have not done anything to anybody here. And I've been put now comments about me on Facebook, okay? I haven't said anything. I haven't done anything. I did what the health department told me to do, and I really don't care. But I'm pissed about the Facebook comments about me and my family. I said Kurt Lamone, 5405 West Beale City Road. I built the big place on the north side of the lake.
With the little itty bitty septic.
It has a septic tank that I pump. I know where my sewer's going. It's going in the truck that takes it away. So don't worry about it.
Why don't we all pump it every year?
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
I do, bud.
I think
That's fine.
the question, Mr.
But don't get me you don't know me. So you don't need to comment about me on Facebook. That's all I got to say. If you're all gonna come in here and bitch, I'm bitching tonight.
Anybody else want to speak?
Betty Walworsick, 5480 Gross Drive. I'm on the north side of Gross Drive, and I wanted to know why I'm in the project. I'm not even on the lake. And there's, west of me, there's houses that's across and right on the lake, I understand. They're not even included this.
She should not be.
I shouldn't be in it. Because I'm on the north side of Gross Drive. I'm not on the lake at all.
Or the river.
Or the river.
There's no rhyme or reason.
And there's other people that's on the north side of Gross Drive that I understand isn't included in it. But I am. Why?
Because they're gonna money grab you.
Numbers, money.
Money grab you.
Thank you for your comments.
Couldn't we take out the people that Their houses are
Not-
worth less than the
you're-
sewer,
you've
wouldn't
already
that make
spoke, Kim.
sense?
You've
Like, if
already
your
spoke.
house is worth less than the sewer, then we
Kim,
take it
you've
down.
already spoke. Anybody else?
No, but I always speak like this.
No, you've already spoke. Anybody
I
else?
used my 3 minutes. so
No, you're done. Anybody else?
Tell somebody else.
Alex would like to interview.
All right, then I'm gonna end
Yeah, I want to speak.
all right.
Steve Morgenstern, 5188 Parkview Drive. These are the facts. In 2018, at the meeting at the high school, your members of the board stated this was not mandated for Coeur Lake. It was not mandated in 2018. Why is it mandated now to do this? I asked for my original meeting 3-4 months ago, who's pressuring you? Who's pressuring you? All I hear is excuses. Then on the answers on your page, that's not an answer, it's just a statement. I haven't been told once who's pressuring you. You guys have to be honest to us. That's where you have to start. We voted you guys all in. There's board members on here, when they see you out in public, oh, there's that guy, or there's that girl. That isn't the way to do it. That doesn't make anything better. For starters, you respect us also, just as in your beginning statement. But I don't see any of that happening. There's plenty of proof in here that says your township supervisor had numerous meetings with CLA, Coeur Lake Association. Coeur Lake Association members, not us. I could care less if you remember or not. I was told that the board stronghold the people that are part of the association, that you have no say in this. We're going to get this because we want it. Charlie Wamsey was the key player in this. Why was one person a key player in this whole project? Charlie Wamsey was a key player. That should never happen in any case. I've been coming here and bitching about my road that I live on for over 10 years. Very little response. Nothing's been taken care of. But Charlie Wamsey can initiate a $6 million to $12 million project. How does that happen? How does that happen? CLA members, if you need to have a tank like Mr. Lalone, then that's what you do. But you can't really blame that individual to a degree because our county, at all levels, at all trades, gave him the okay.
Right.
That's who you should be pissed at besides the board, or not, or consumptive board not having our back. Ernie Smith, who knows Ernie Smith? Back in the day, they tried pushing us in the same time they did Rosebush. What did Ernie Smith say? We don't need this. And we still don't need it. If the Coeur Lake people, the lakefront people who don't have the systems want to front the money themselves, then that's the option should be.
Nice job.
Alex would like to set up interviews and meetings with anybody who'd like to afterwards.
Yeah, just come talk to me afterwards and give me your contact info.
Do you have a public comment?
I was.
That was.
All right. Anybody else? All right, go ahead.
Abby Sellers. Okay, I just have some questions about that survey. On the Publicom survey results, it stated, and I quote, Nottawa Township hired Publicom to implement an online survey of area property owners. The survey period was February 8th through 20th, 2018. The 11-question survey was sent electronically to members of the Coeur Lake Association with email addresses on file with the association secretary. A link to the survey was also promoted through the association's Facebook page. A total of 93 surveys were completed. The email to association members generated 61 completes, while the link on social media generated 32 completes, end quotes. This indicates the only CLA members and CLA Facebook page followers were given advanced and direct notice of the survey. What specific reason do you have for only providing this small and like-minded group selective notification? Nobody else received that notification. So regarding the survey, do you have an explanation as to why the entire planned special assessment district was not notified? Is there a reason all properties included in the special assessment district were not notified of the survey by mail? Is there a reason this was not placed on the Nottawa Township website under the sewer project section? Is there a reason only CLA members were chosen to be notified in the survey? Were you aware that only paid members of the CLA received email notifications of the public common interest survey? Are you aware of what sampling bias is and what constitutes sampling bias? Sampling bias is a type of survey bias that occurs when a research study does not use a representative sample of the target population. In other words, you gather data from a group in which some members of the attended population have a higher or lower sampling probability than others. Were you aware at the time that CLA members were not a true representative sample of 410 properties in the proposed sewer district? Are you now aware that paid CLA members, that paying CLA members are not a true representative sample of those 410 properties in the proposed sewer district? Can you elaborate on why exactly a true sample representative of the population was not pursued? Do you have proof of identification verification on who filled out those surveys? According to the survey, quote, for parcels that receive this survey via multiple email addresses, please respond only once per household or business. We are trying to gauge interest of each parcel, not each person. So by putting a statement like that in a survey, they're saying they don't have a way of checking if you take it for more than one property. I could take it for Lisa and Steve and Kim. I could have said, yep, 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 and answered the whole survey and said I was all these people. You don't have proof. And if you can't prove that, it's not representative of anything.
Hi, I'm Jeff. I wasn't going to speak, but she brought up a good point. I believe my family is probably the longest continuous owners of property in Coldwater Lake, 81 years. My grandfather made my brother and I swear that we would not allow the property to ever leave the family. We are not part of the CLA. We didn't receive the survey. So we were not represented. Our voice was not represented at all in this whole process. And does anyone know any other family that's been on the lake for 81 years? My grandfather bought the property from Mr. Hislop himself, and Mr. Hislop, according to my grandfather, offered to sell him the whole lake for $5,000.
Wow.
And my grandfather, I sure wish he had bought it.
Could have had a sewer.
Oh, that'd be generational wealth, that would have been nice. But 81 years, and our voice was not heard, we were not represented whatsoever, because we never received a survey, because my mother is 84 years old, does not have email, does not have Facebook, we're not in the CLA, you know, so to do an electronic survey to just a select number of CLA members when there are, I don't know the percentage, but there are a number of lake owners that are not part of the CLA, and we have not been a part of the CLA for probably 40-some years. That's all I have to say.
My name is Steve Engelbert, and I live on Coldwater Lake. And I was never notified about any of this, because I'm not a CLA member either. So how do you not send us something in the mail to tell us this is gonna happen, and we should have had a vote on it? We didn't have a vote on it.
Your language.
That's right.
It's not a democratic society when you're doing what you're doing.
Amen.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else?
I'd just like to ask the board, do you guys really think we're getting a fair deal here? Are you guys happy with what you're doing to us?
They don't care, they're looking at it.
Yeah, come on, sit down and look. We ain't got answers, we ain't got price. You guys feel like you're doing your job? If not, you should step down.
Anyone else? I see a hand. Go ahead.
When are the bids coming in? You keep saying that you can't give any information because you don't have bids. When are these nebulous bids supposed to come in? Can you answer that? Can you say anything?
I'm not having a question and answer session for public comment, no.
Whatever Pete can start.
So you don't know either when the bids are supposed to happen? That's kind of a yes or no.
Last month they said they were ready to pull the permits.
Can I answer, please?
She's not gonna answer you.
Public comment is not a question and answer session.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said public comment is not a question and answer session. So, you could email the supervisor, I can tell you his email address, or you can write a letter to him.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at some of the previous question and answers that are posted on the website, that question is answered.
Was it?
But it's yes or, I asked if you know when they're, it's just yes or no, we don't have to have a debate, I just, you either know when they're gonna be or you don't.
There's not a specific date for bids, but we know what the timeline is for when they're supposed to happen.
When?
So when you
No.
get a bid, that's when we'll know how much this all costs?
Correct.
Before,
All
after.
right.
May I have one more comment?
No. Anybody
We have a
else?
good one.
Anybody stand up?
No, I'm not gonna stand on
Okay,
this
what's your
today
name?
here. My name is Christy Pulsper.
All right.
Okay, I work in healthcare and I work with elderly people every day. So you're telling me that a 92-year-old woman or an 84-year-old man is going to keep up with the times of Facebook,
Nope.
email?
Don't have me
You
do that.
need to communicate in a better manner because there's no communication here. Y'all sitting around doing whatever and these people don't know what's going on. Come on, do your jobs.
Thank
It's
you.
true.
I don't have computers.
Anyone else?
I don't have a computer, I don't do Facebook. I don't
Everybody,
have them
hey,
smartphones.
hey, Mr. Gunker's trying to speak. Everybody needs to be quiet for Mr. Yunker. Thank you.
Who made the, you know, like there's 410 residents you're saying that's gonna be in this? There's 93 on Coldwater Lake Association? Well, who threw Schuler-Bishop plat in this? There's no way anybody in the Schuler-Bishop plat puts anything in that lake, I'll guarantee. Positively. I mean, it's impossible. You'd have to have a pipe going right directly to the lake, across somebody else's property. I mean, what's the deal? Somebody came up with these numbers, and the people around the lake did that to get the numbers, so we could start, we got more money coming in.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about.
That or gentricide.
Yeah. I mean, somebody, who came up with those parcels of land? Who did it? It was only to get a head count, so it's all about. And it's not right.
Damn right.
So you're saying there's only 93 members out of
That's what I
410?
heard. Well, one of these folks got 90, but there's ones that probably, I don't
Screw
know.
this over.
Probably got this wrong.
There was only
Nobody in our
72 back
association
then. That year.
Thank you, Mr. Yunker. Anyone else? All right, I'm gonna move on to the rest of the board.
Stay, you guys,
agenda.
please.
All right, treasurer's report.
General operating, $8,583.51. General savings, $602,561.51. Sewer account, $389,167.85. Sewer construction, RRI, $84,742.60. Debt retirement, $322,602.02. CD 14, $134,919.77. That was number 10. CD 14, number 11, is $558,176.80. The new municipal savings, number 12, there's nothing in that account that's for online pay. Municipal savings, number 13, is $500,603.89.
Payment of the bills. You have the bill, the check registers in front of you. The one for general checking has nothing beyond the normal things that we pay every month, except that we do have the road commission bill for the finalizing the overlay on Wademan Road, and that is $73,422.82. So that will use up the last of what we had from the May 2023 2% request, and then the additional $50,000 that the township put in for that project. The first part of that project was the Nottawa Road, which we already paid for, but that was all one great big project. And then the bill for Homeworks Tri-County Electric, they have some of the street lights that are out further to the west in the county, or I'm sorry, in the township, and they only bill us once a year for the street lights. So this is the only, we always receive the bill in December instead of them billing us monthly like Consumers does. And then the other check register is for the sewer checking account. So remember, we don't have the sewer construction account anymore, so this is a combination of operating expenses for the sewer itself. So out of these on here, the operating expenses came to $662.39. The Beal City expenses on here are $745.25, and the Coldwater Lake invoices on here are for $38,075.85.
So the 38,000 was just for this month for Coldwater, correct?
Correct.
And so is it safe to say that went to Lorenz and Wolverine?
Part of it did.
I'll make a, go ahead, I'll make a motion to accept the payment of the bills.
And this says that you got $739,000 in the fund. That's not the sewer fund, that's the general fund.
Which number?
Right here, 739,100. There's second, right here. Yeah, 700.
That's general fund, not sewer fund.
Now, but one question I did have is the $5,000, the $5 million loan, have we already put that into our sewer account?
No, $5 million is still sitting at USDA.
Okay, so at what point will that come in? Because Beal City already is paying for theirs, so wouldn't you have gotten part of that?
You don't start getting the money that's allocated for Coldwater Lake till you actually start putting, till the.
So the $5 million don't have nothing to do with Beal City then?
Not Coldwater, Beal City.
So Beal City isn't on our loan? They didn't get a
They
loan?
have their own loan.
How much was their loan?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
How will we get that answer?
You can submit an email to Corey and ask him.
All right, it says that $9,800 to tap in.
For Beal City?
That was for Coldwater too.
No.
How much is it gonna cost to tap into Coldwater?
That's not been set yet. Okay, I'm moving on. We have a motion and a second for approval of the treasurer's report and authorization to pay bills. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same? All right, that's approved. A fire department report.
There is not one.
You meet on Thursday.
Yeah, we meet this Thursday.
All right. Old business, Beal City project, there's nothing to report on Beal City. Cowater Lake project, easement acquisition is still ongoing, and finalization of plans by the engineers is what's ongoing. There's nothing else to report on Cowater Lake. Wademan project, nothing has happened on the Nottawa Township side. On the Sherman side, they have put some, I don't remember what they call it, some access points into the storm drains to start doing some testing on trying to find where the violations are coming from. But they haven't received anything back on those yet. But nothing has happened on the Nottawa Township side. Video monitoring at the hall. The video cameras have been installed, and this coming weekend, the ballot box will be installed out by the front doors. And 2% awards update. We got the 2% awards for the fall. Where's my letter? So we received $15,500 for the Coldwater Lake milfoil removal. We received $12,857 for the Wademan Mitchell Memorial Park Community Development Project, which includes work on the Wademan Community Center building, and I think everything they got was for work on the building. And then general allocation in the amount of $6,993.99. That is the money, that same amount of money is given to every township and village that has the ability to apply. That is not for a specific item. So everybody got that.
Okay.
All right, and then last under new business, our only thing is to set the 2024 meeting dates. So January's meeting date would fall on January 1st, which we obviously can't do. So our choices are January 2nd or January 3rd. I will not be here January 2nd, so Corey's preference is to do it January 3rd. I said you can do it January 2nd as long as somebody takes notes and I'll type the minutes up, but his preference is to do it the 3rd, and I don't know if everybody else is okay with that.
Is that Wednesday?
That's Wednesday.
That's fine with me.
Is that okay with everybody? Okay, well,
I'm just gonna put that on here so I don't forget. Okay? And I left my personal card,
that's
so
fine.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So we'll set that one for, it's the 3rd, Wednesday the 3rd.
Yes, our next meeting. Yeah, that'll be our next meeting, that's right.
September 2nd falls on Labor Day, and this past year, we just moved it to the following Tuesday, so Tuesday, September 3rd.
Okay.
Is that okay with everybody?
Tuesdays are commissioner meetings too, so it'd be better if you could go to a Wednesday.
I don't know if we can. We can always move it later. We'll put it for the 3rd for now, but we can always move it later. And then November 4th is the day before the presidential election. And after the last big election, I said I would never do a meeting the night before a big election. So my request is to not do the meeting on Monday the 4th, but to do it on Monday the 11th. And that's when I would like to do it if everybody else is okay with that.
Is that Veterans Day?
It's Veterans Day, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make a difference to me, but.
Is everybody okay with the 11th?
Yep.
All right.
All righty.
All right, so we're gonna set the 2024 schedule as the first Monday, except for January, which will be on Wednesday the 3rd, September, which will be on Tuesday the 3rd, and November, which will be on the 2nd Monday. I just need a motion for that.
I'll make that motion to change those dates for 2024.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. All right, that's adopted. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. We're adjourned at 8:10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Katie, did you want to see this?
Yes, please.